Hey everyone, today we continue talking about Jesus' ascension with a passage from Ephesians 1. God put this power to work in Christ when he raised him from the dead and seated him at the right hand in the heavenly places, far above every ruler and authority and power and dominion, and above every name that is named, not only in this age, but also in the age to come. God has put everything under his feet and has made him head over everything in the church, which is his body, the fullness of him who fills all in all. Has the world gotten better or worse in the past 2,000 years since Jesus ascended into heaven? I think a lot of times we're tempted to say it's worse, but I'm going to argue that it actually has gotten a lot better. If you look at the scope of everything in the past couple thousand years, now today we're just a lot more aware of the problems and we see what's wrong in the world, which actually itself is a blessing to know what's wrong so we can do something about it. Just think about things like hospitals and public education and the decline of war in a global sense. All of those things have improved in a powerful way, and Christianity has been a powerful force in making that happen. There's so many things we just take for granted that we would just care about certain people in our society or believing that all are created equal. Doesn't mean we always live up to it. Often we don't. But we do assume that that's true if you ask us. And I think that comes, in some sense, from the reign of Christ. Martin Luther King Jr. famously said that the arc of the moral universe is long, but it bends towards justice. So my question is, well, who's the one bending it? I think the answer is Christ. I think that's what Ephesians is pointing to here. When we talk about Jesus ascending, again, it's not the rocket ship Jesus we talked about yesterday. It's him ascending to the throne, ascending to this place of being over every other power that could be named, as Ephesians says. And so that's where Christ is. Well, how is Christ working out his reign? When it says that everything is under his feet, does that mean that he's now dominating everything? He's overpowering all these other forces? Well, I think the way that Christ is working out his reign now is the same way that he did when he was on earth, in small ways, through acts of love. It's this mustard seed kind of growth, as he talked about with his parables. He doesn't change just because of where he's at. Christ is Christ, and the pattern he showed in his life is the pattern that he's using now. And so that's what we're called to do, is to be a part of that. How can we imitate Christ's approach of not dominating, but to work alongside things as we bring Christ's reign to bear? We are called to work against these twisted powers and principalities and authorities, these inhuman systems of oppression that work out in the daily lives of people that are most easy to oppress. But we work against those things the way that Christ would and the way that Christ does now, with the loving power that comes from our risen Lord.